Let's create a new website. I go to Control Panel, Websites, create a new website, select the theme. That one is fine. Let's use the domain, whatever, create website, success, and we created whatever.boomla.net. You can drag and drop things around by these circular things called icons. So I can grab it and move it after that block, move the gallery to the top, and maybe the actual gallery below that heading. You can also sort these page entries. For example, let's grab this and move it before gallery or back to the end. You can also grab, say, that gallery and move it into license, which doesn't have a gallery. So let's go back to gallery, grab it, move it into license, go there, and there it is at the bottom. You can also move one page to another, so this one doesn't have any subpages. Let's grab gallery, move it in there, and the gallery is moved. Then we can also move entire subtrees. So for example, pages have deeper subtrees. So let's go to license, into gallery, and grab gallery and move it in there. So the deep subtree is moved in whole. Let's add a gallery to this page. We can do that by opening the new tab, grabbing gallery and dropping it into the page, which says we shall upload the images in there. So let's upload these 3 images into that gallery, which is automatically resizing them and displays them as well as expected. We can create new pages the same way, new page, drop it to the end, and there it is. Let's copy this gallery, copy to that empty page, paste into. The original is retained. We can also cut to move it, paste into, the original is gone, and finally let's delete it. Okay, going back to the gallery, if I click this icon, you can also see that there are some custom context menu entries. Applications may register their application-specific entries. So for example, let's turn this into a 5-column gallery, back into a 3-column gallery. Let's change the image proportions. And finally, at the bottom, you can see a customize gallery button. So applications may also create configuration pages. So here, for example, I could give it a custom aspect ratio, save it, which is even more flat, or I can say, I want to give it a margin of 20, save it, and then you can see the spacing. So the point is that applications may register stuff that's specific to them. Let's see undo, redo in action. First, I'm going to delete some stuff. And then I'm going to undo these changes and redo them. Undo and redo covers anything you do. At the moment, the gallery app is not installed on this website, so let's install it. Scroll down, gallery.boomla.net. You can either click the install button here or see the documentation of this app. Every app is a separate website. So let's say I'm happy with it. At the bottom, you can find this install in Boomla button. I click this, which website do I want to install it on whatever.boomla.net. Okay, it's installed. Now it's added to the toolbar so I can create a new gallery, add some images, and voila. Also going to the control panel, you can see the applications that are installed here. So now there are 2 applications installed. Let's say I want to uninstall this gallery. So I click the uninstall button, uninstall app, and it says I can't remove it because it's present on the website. So let's remove this gallery first and then try to uninstall it again. Now it works. It's gone from the application listing and also gone from the toolbar. Let's create a new branch before we make any changes. New branch, call it beta. In the list, you can see it here. Let's open it. All right, now let's do some changes. Whatever, it really doesn't matter. Actually, just add some dashes to make it obvious. Okay, obviously on the main branch, it's not visible. So the main branch is whatever.boomla.net. And we are now on a subdomain of it, which is a custom development branch. All right, so let's say branch, commit to story. If you're happy with the changes, let's say Woohoo, just to make it some very good experimental name, and then we can publish it on whatever.boomla.net. If I do that, it will be public. You can also see the version history. Go to story, and you can see earlier commits. So check this out. Let's say alt checkout, and now we can open the old branch, which doesn't contain the dashes. And let's say I actually want to restore it. So say version publish branch onto the master branch, publish, and again, let's close the others. The original is restored. Let's download and install Boomla locally. Download the Windows version, which I have already done. Let's extract it. We will end up with a Boomla directory having a boomla.exe. Let's start this. It says workspace initiated, and then it will start listening on an SFTP and HTTP ports. Once that's done, we go to boomla.me, boomla.me. There you go. So this is your local Boomla instance control panel. Let's sign up. All right, create an account. This will not send you an email because it's just for having the account separate. All right, so that's your Boomla control panel, your local one. You can create websites here just like on boomla.com. One thing to notice is that you will end up with websites on subdomains of boomla.me, so demo.boomla.me, for example. And that's because if you would not be using boomla.me, rather localhost or something, you could not point subdomains of that automatically to your local domain. So the benefit of boomla.me is that we could that way automate the process fully for you, so you don't need to add it to your host file to point those domains to your local machine. All right. All your data is stored in this .boomla directory. So you can see there are a few files here. One thing to know is that this the data structure in this directory is fully cross-platform. So in case you wanted to move this directory to a different machine, or you wanted to put it on a pen drive and put all the binaries for the different platforms in here so that you will get a portable install of your Boomla workspace, then that would be completely fine. Let's see push and pull in action. This website ends in .boomla.me, so this is running on our local instance. And this one is a public website, which is empty. It's on boomla.net, so you can see it's a public website. So I want to push this website with my custom change I just made onto public site.boomla.net. To do that, go to control panel. There's this arrow to push this branch onto public site.boomla.net. I want to force it because the history is not the same. And my remote email is demo, and my password is on the clipboard. Okay, branch pushed. I can close this. Let's refresh, and it's as expected. Now notice that websites in Boomla are fully self-contained. The root file of the website contains everything it needs, so it's guaranteed to work. Okay, let's make a public change. Say edit, or actually just remove this. Okay, I want to commit this to the history or story. Remove woohoo, whatever, commit. Okay, and we can go back to the site. And now I come to demo.boomla.me, control panel. Now I want to download or pull the change from public site.boomla.net. I do not want to force it, that's the default. So when the history should be the same, then it's fine. Remote email is demo.boomla.com. Password is again on the clipboard. Pull branch successfully pulled. If I refresh this, the woohoo is gone. So it will just work. The same principle is used when you're installing apps on your Boomla website or doing anything else with other public websites. The system will automatically push and pull them in the background for you. Let's look at the file system of Boomla. Here's an IDE button to open the developer tools. Let's open this in a new tab and put them side by side. All right, so what you can see is that the file system of this website, so there's a root file that's containing everything. In Boomla, files may contain other files. So that's a regular file as well. These are regular files as well. And as you can see, the pages here, so gallery, columns, floated layout, etc., gallery, columns, floated layout, etc., are represented here. So say I want to remove the gallery page, it's the equivalent to removing the file here. So if I refresh this, the gallery will be gone. Again, I can undo and it will be restored. All right. Contents on that page are also mapped to files. So for example, if I click this icon, it will say welcome to paper template. If I come here, there is a welcome to paper template file here. So it's in placeholder 1. That's why it's shown here, because that's placeholder 1. You can see that if I click the new tab and drag something here, at the top you can see this black thing saying placeholder 1. So that's one way to learn about that. So if I move it out of this placeholder to say 2, it will not be displayed. The same way, to create our own custom file, we can create a new file, say my app, and put it in placeholder 1. Now it's at the top of placeholder 1. So if I refresh, we get an error because it has no file type. So let's give it a file type just to try our hands on it. I just want to print some HTML, so that we can do that with the HTML1 app. I open the body of that file, my app, and say hello world. Save it, refresh, and it says hello world. So one interesting thing to notice here is that you can immediately drag this file and move it even to a different page. We can come to gallery and find it at the bottom, which is interesting because it's also, just moving that file to the bottom on the file system. Let's create a tiny bit more complex application. So let's start with creating a new file, call it app, put it in placeholder 1, and give it a file type app1. If you want to create it's similar to creating a class in object-oriented programming languages. So that just defines this as an app. And inside this file, we can create a .inline file that will handle the rendering of the file inside a page. We also need to give that a file type. So that could be, let's write some JavaScript this time. So SJS3 is a interpreter to run JavaScript code. And here you can say response.body, hello world. And come back here, refresh, and it says hello world. Okay, now let's make it a bit more interesting and say I'll move it to variable. Whoops. Okay, and I want to wrap it in a div and give it a class named -div. Now we can create a file.inline style. Give it a type CSS1. There's not too many types to learn, just a handful. And here you can use this -div, and Boomla will automatically prefix it for you to use proper namespacing and avoid conflicts. And we can say background shall be red and color shall be white, and maybe padding shall be 10 pixel, just to give it some better look. Okay, so now we have an application. So this is it's like an anonymous application because we haven't really defined a name for it. We just wrote some code that is executing right there when you see it. But actually it's an application as well, because you can come here and say, let's create a new app, app2 or instance maybe, and put it after app. Now there's instance, and the file type is not set for this. So I come here and set the type to point to --app or simply /app. Maybe it's easier for now. Okay, now it says hello world as well. So that's a prototype chain in Boomla, because the .inline and .inline style methods files are not defined directly with an instance, but rather in app. But also you can override those. So let's come here and copy this inline style file into that instance, paste into, come here, inline style. And let's say that I want to override the red background color with blue and refresh. So as you can see, you can override methods along the prototype chain. Let's add our application to the toolbar so that we can just grab and drag our hello world onto our page. Let's say I don't need the blue one for now, And as for the red one, which is called app, I'm going to go to sys/new, and anything you put in here will be shown in the new tab of the toolbar. So let's create a file named app, give it a title because that will be shown as a text, my custom app. All right, and its type shall be /app. Going back to the page, refresh, actually go to another page, new, you can see my custom app is at the top and you can use it. You can create as many instances as you want. And of course, it's just any regular app. You can move it to different pages as well. Let's make this app print something custom instead of always hello world. So come to the developer, tools, app, inline, here's our code. Let's replace hello world with something custom. Okay, so the app variable is just like this in object-oriented programming. So from this point, it's really object-oriented programming where the objects are files on the Boomla file system. So you can print f.title, and maybe you want to HTML encode it and save it. And if we come back here, it will display nothing because the file, the application, it has no title. So let's print app here, come back, refresh, and it will print app. Now on the gallery page, it says my custom app because when we copied it from the toolbar, it inherited the title of that file, which we set to my custom app. Okay, so let's make this editable. And to do that, let's go to boomla.com, developers, user interface, and you can see that you can make a text editable by adding this part here, data contents editable title, make a HTML tag editable. Okay, so within app inline, you can add this here. And so we are making the title field of the file editable. Save this. I can close this, come back here, edit, and now you can change the name, save, and it will be routed back. So now we are on the gallery page. This is my custom app, and as you can see, the title is routed back here. So that way you can really quickly make fields editable on the web page. Let's see how apps are installed in the background because it's quite interesting. So let's go to new and say, install more. I want to install this utility for uploading files. It's just a file uploader box. If I install it, you can see it shows like this if it's empty. If you add files, it will show like that. Okay, cool. I want to install this on whatever.boomla.net. Okay, it's installed. Cool. Let me close that and come to our file system. And so inside our root file, inside sys apps, there you can find files.boomla.net, which we just installed. Inside this, there's a source, which is the super interesting part because let's open its properties or file metadata, and it has a link which is importing files.boomla.net. So what it does, it's actually mounting this files.boomla.net website by its hash. So it's an immutable way of mounting it. If the files.boomla.net website would change, it doesn't affect our website because we have installed a specific version of that website. Okay, so we can enter this. So now we are inside this mounted volume. Why is that super interesting? So let's come back here and open the source file, which is linking the website, the application, and open it. So as you can see, we are on files.boomla.net/src/source inside our website. So we can see the same documentation here as we have seen on the app. Here's the empty version of this application, and here's with the files. All the dependencies come with the app, including its documentation. Because in Boomla, every application is bundled, is packaged as a separate website. So websites may import or mount other websites, applications that they depend on. And that way, you will have no conflict. And because Boomla is storing all these files in Merkle trees, these files are deduplicated by default. So maybe if your applications are installing the same apps, it doesn't cost you anything because you're mounting the same hash. There's no data duplication. The local Boomla instance comes with a built-in SFTP server, which allows you to edit your website through your familiar tools. Let's connect to demo.boomla.me. And you will notice that every file is represented as 3 files via the SFTP connection. That's because the Boomla file system is different from the Windows file system. So to allow you to dig down into a file and also access the file body and other file metadata, we have to show it as 3 distinct files. But don't think about them as 3 real objects. That's just a view. The real thing is what you see here, where every file is shown as a single row. So let's go into this page, demo.boomla.me. Let's look up the name of this gallery, which is gallery 2. Go into gallery 2. And the name of the first image is 4W, and this is 4W. So let's open this. All right, zoom out and make some changes to it, which is easy to spot. Just some red spot on it, refresh the page. And as you can see, it's immediately shown on the website. So you can use your familiar tools without having to worry what tools are available on Boomla at the moment and what are not.